Season of Discovery Phase 3 is here, and I'm going to show you everything you need to succeed as a Retribution Paladin. Let's start off then with the stat priority. Strength is going to increase our attack power, and it is the major contributor to our DPS. Don't worry though, because this is going to be on a lot of your gear with these other stats we're trying to get anyway, and you're not really going to have to be looking for it. The next up is going to be attack power on its own, but getting strength is a much better way of getting attack power, and therefore if it is a 1-to-1 ratio, you're going to want to take strength over AP instead. Critical Strike, of course, is going to increase your chance to deal double damage on your DPS abilities. And Agility also increases our crit as well, which some of our talents we're going to be taking, increasing that crit chance is going to be quite important. Lastly, I would say hit chance. It is 6%. This is the hit cap that we need for enemies that are 2 levels above us, which is the case in Sunken Temple at level 50 in SoD Phase 3. A few other things I haven't got on here that do actually contribute to a paladin is your spell power and intellect as well. Things like your Seal of the Righteous and Judgment, etc. are actually going to benefit from getting some spell power, whereas Divine Storm and your Crusader Strike are actually going to be a lot better scaling with attack power. If you don't know what those are, don't worry, we're going to cover them next with the talents. Of course, being a Retribution Paladin, most of our talents are going into the Retribution tree. What a shock! And we're going to start off by putting 5 out of 5 into Improved Blessing of Might, increasing the melee attack power bonus of your Blessing of Might by 20%. Do try and coordinate with other paladins regarding what blessings you are giving out. Maybe one can do might, one can do wisdom, etc., depending on how many there are of you in the group and your group composition. We're also going to put 3 points into Benediction, reducing the mana cost of your judgment and seal spells by 9%. Going down onto the next one, it's 2 out of 2 into Improved Judgment, decreasing the cooldown of judgment by 2 seconds. And 3 out of 3 into Improved Seal of the Crusader. Increases the melee attack power bonus of the Seal of Crusader and the holy damage increase of your Judgment of the Crusader by 15%. Going down to the next row, 5 out of 5 into Conviction, increasing the chance to get a critical strike with melee weapons by 5%. Of course, we are using a melee weapon as a paladin. And then 1 going into Seal of Command. This gives the paladin a chance to deal additional holy damage equal to 70% of our normal weapon damage. You can only have 1 seal at a time active, remember, and it does last 30 seconds. You can then unleash the sealing of to judge an enemy, instantly causing 46 to 50 holy damage, and even more if they're stunned or incapacitating. You can use your judgment to do this, of course. Another 2 points going into the Pursuit of Justice, increasing movement speed and mounted movement speed by 8%. Doesn't stack with other movement speed effects, however. Now, sometimes I have people saying like, oh, but that's not like a damage increasing ability, I don't want to take it. But actually, you've got to think about all the tactics and the movement you're going to have to do on raid bosses. Having that movement is actually going to make things a lot easier, getting to your location quicker, etc. I mean, you can do more damage, get out of danger faster, and things like that. I think movement speed is never to be scoffed at. Going down one more, we've got the Sanctity Aura, increasing holy damage done by party members within 30 yards by 10%. This is massive. Players may only have 1 aura on them per paladin at one time. This is the aura we're generally going to be going with as a Ret Paladin. 3 points going into Two-Handed Weapon Specialization, increasing damage we deal with two-handed weapons by 6%, and then 5 out of 5 into Vengeance. This is when I said about the crit earlier, giving you a 15% bonus to physical and holy damage you deal for 8 seconds after you deal a critical strike from a weapon swing, spell, or ability. So basically, when you get a crit, you're going to do a load more damage. So crit is therefore quite important. We're then actually going to go over into the Holy Tree now, putting 5 out of 5 into Divine Strength, increasing your strength by 10%. Remember I said strength is your primary stat? Well, here we go, another 10% for you. Going down then, it's going to be Improved Seal of the Righteous, increasing the damage done by that, and Judgment of the Righteous by 15%. Going down one more, Consecration, a fantastic ability, consecrating the land beneath the paladin, doing holy damage over 8 seconds. It's basically a big AoE consecration of holiness on the floor. And Bob's your uncle, we're level 50. Let's have a look then at the runes we are going to be using as Retribution Paladin. On the hand rune, it's really quite self-explanatory that we're taking Crusader Strike. The other rune options don't really offer much in terms of damage, and we're not really going to be doing any healing, and therefore we don't really need Beacon of Light. So it's an instant strike that causes 75% weapon damage as holy and regenerates 5% of your maximum mana, which is obviously fantastic for mana regen. We're putting the Exorcist on our legs. Exorcism can now be cast on any target and has 100% increased critical strike chance against undead and demons. That's right, demonic entities, which we're going to put on there. On the chest rune, it's going to be the Seal of the Martyrdom. This is a long one, so brace yourself. We're going to fill yourself with Holy Spirit for 30 seconds, causing each of our melee attacks to deal 50% damage to our target, but we're going to lose health equal to 10% of the damage inflicted. While the seal is active, our party and raid members within 40 yards are going to gain mana equal to 20% of damage you take from the seal. So you take the damage, but you're giving out mana to everyone, hence the name of the seal. Unleashing the seal's energy will judge an enemy, instantly causing 85% weapon damage at the cost of health equal to 10% of the damage inflicted. And that's why we use our judgment. The seal's ability seal and judgment benefit from talents and effects that modify Seal of Judgment and Seal of the Righteousness as well. You can also, in this slot, for AoE, take Divine Storm, an instant weapon attack that causes 110% of weapon damage up to 4 enemies within 8 yards. The Divine Storm heals up to 3 party members, totaling 25% of damage caused as well. But for the purpose of this video, we're going for the Martyrdom one. On the waist, it's going to be the Sheath of Light. Dealing damage with your melee weapon increases your spell power by an amount equal to 30% of your attack power for 1 minute. In addition, your critical healing spells heal the target of 60% for the amount healed over 12 seconds. Woohoo for us. Regarding Sheath of Light, then, that is going to increase massively the damage of things like Exorcism that we've already spoken about with other runes, due to its amazing ability to utilize both our attack power and spell power as well. Remember at the start of this video when I said about the stats and how some spells actually go quite well with spell power and some are attack power? Well, the Sheath of Light is going to make this synergize really, really well. On the foot, it's going to be the Art of War. This is really the only one we can really get for DPS on here. Your melee critical strikes reset the cooldowns of Holy Shock and Exorcism. Again, there's that Exorcism again. And the mana cost of Holy Shock and Exorcism is reduced by 80%, which is a really, really good rune. The fact that we can have like a really core ability like Exorcism be reset is a massive DPS increase, especially when you think about what we've just spoken about with Sheath of Light and how we can get that extra Exorcism damage. Onto the new exciting Phase 3 runes for SoD then. We're going with Wrath on the Helm. Our consecration damage, remember that's the holy ground we're putting out, can now be critical strikes and damage from your Exorcism. Hello, Exorcism again. Holy Shock, Holy Wrath, and Consecration spells gain additional critical strike chance equal to your melee critical strike chance, which is huge. All of your crit talents that we've already got are going to synergize fantastically with this. It's going to synergize again really well with Exorcism and make those even stronger than they already were. On the wrist rune then, the final rune, we're going for Improved Hammer of Wrath. Quite simple on this one. The cooldown on Hammer of Wrath is reset each time it damages an enemy below 10% health. So, quite confusing there, a lot to take in. How's it all going to come together into a rotation? Let's have a look. So, we're going to use our Sanctify Aura and keep that one active. That is the main aura I would suggest to use. Regarding your blessings, like I said earlier, do try and coordinate with the other paladins in your group, whether it's might, wisdom, etc, etc. To start with, we're going to use our Seal of the Crusader and unleash it using our Judgment ability. If you can't remember what the Seal of the Crusader does, it's going to fill us with holy energy, increasing our melee attack power. We're also going to attack even faster, but deal less damage with each attack. And then when we judge them with Judgment, it's then going to increase how much holy damage they take from us. So we're doing this at the start of the rotation to maximize how much damage we can do to that enemy with the rest of the rotation in the holy damage we are doing. And by the way, your melee strikes are also going to refresh the duration of this. So it's absolutely fantastic. We're then going to use Seal of the Command or Martyrdom up, whichever. And then we're going to use our Crusader Strike on cooldown, our Exorcism on cooldown, which is going to keep getting reset, remember, our Judgment on cooldown, our Consecration on cooldown, using them in this order. If you're getting confused, what I would advise to do is just put them on your action bar in that order. So you can just go boom, 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 boom in that order. And then if you are using Divine Storm for AoE, etc., use that as well. When it gets to 20% health or below, use your Hammer of Wrath. If you're wondering why we're only using it on enemies 20% health and below, you physically can't. You cannot use it on health above that. Once you get to that point, it's like an execute ability. It does a ton of damage. You can only use it at that point and beyond. And then when it gets to 10% health, use your Exorcism on cooldown, which you should really be doing anyway. If it's not available at that point, just use your Hammer of Wrath. It's on a 6-second cooldown. Keep your seal active when doing that. And then you can use your Crusader Strike, because remember, that's actually going to regenerate some mana for you as well. So when you need that mana, you can then use your Crusader Strike. And then apart from that, just make sure you're using your Sheath of Light active, which you're going to be doing anyway, by just meleeing the boss. And that is it. That is how you're going to play Retribution Paladin in Phase 3 of SoD. If you have any more questions, etc., please do join the Discord. We've got a really friendly and helpful community there who really are there to help. And we have a lot of very good members, and you could be one of them, and maybe you want to help out others as well. If you want some extra help from me, etc., feel free to join my Patreon. I can help you set up your UI and things like that. There's a secret VIP channel in Discord you get to join, and you get a load of behind-the-scenes content, and of course, it helps support the channel. If you are looking for other SoD Phase 3 guides, they're just here under current class guides. I always keep this shelf on my channel up to date, removing non-relevant content as applicable. Thanks for watching, guys, and have fun in SoD Phase 3 for Season of Discovery.